Hi, and welcome to the Parrot Coder. So in this episode, I want to introduce you to the Parrot Coder and explain how it works and how it can work for you. So first of all, the Parrot Coder is not a code editor. It is a dynamic code templating engine. When I explained this to some developer friends of mine, they immediately said, "You mean like snippets?" So just to show you what a snippet is and how it's different, here is a snippet in VS Code. So it's got a prefix of view, so when you type in view, it's going to spit out this text here, and this description, empty view template, and that's what this is. It's an empty view JavaScript template. So you've got your opening and closing template tags, your opening and closing script tags, and then the name of the component, and this little name marker. So when we go to an empty file and type in view, it gives us that snippet. And it's already highlighted our component name, so we can go example-component-1. Save. So here's the thing. What happens when you want to change your snippet? Let's say we want to add a new section in there, and it's a comment. This is a new bit. How do we then get it in there? Sure, we can apply it in new files, and we go, okay, view, and there it is. This is a new bit has come up. But then wherever you've already applied this snippet, you're gonna have to manually go in and make that change. So how can the Parrot address this little problem? Let's check out the Parrot. So here's the Parrot Coder. And firstly, I just want to take you through some of the objects that you can create. Firstly, there's the Parrot project itself. And this is a Parrot project. I've called it the Parrot Coder example. It's empty. And then there are these blueprints that you can create. So there's three types. There's the Parrot file blueprint. There's a Parrot section blueprint, which is what files are comprised of. And there are Parrot variable blueprints. So now if we go into our Parrot Coder and we want to recreate this view snippet, firstly we create a Parrot file blueprint. We'll call it view template. Save, and then we can go into that file blueprint, and this is where we create our section blueprints. So the first part is template. Let's copy that. So template open, and you can name those sections whatever you want, whatever is clear to you. Let's use the next section. Template close. And we see that there's actually a space after that, so let's add a space in there. We'll go and edit. Save. And then there's the script opening. Then there's the component name. And finally, the script closing tag. So here we have our template. Now we just need to change over this component name, and we do that with a Parrot variable blueprint, which you can create with this button here or from over here. And it will bring up this dialog where you highlight where you want the marker to go. And you say what it is, so this is the component name. And you set yourself a challenge question. What is the component name? you give yourself an example to remind you what it looks like. So in this case, it's kebab case, example component -1. You can add an explanation if you like, and save. And you see that now that's been replaced with this Parrot variable blueprint marker. So now when we want to apply it to our files, let's go back to our presentation. So here's your blueprints that we just created. We created file blueprints, section blueprints, and variable blueprints. Now to apply them, we create instances of those blueprints, and they are Parrot Files, which relate to these file blueprints, Parrot Sections, which relate to the section blueprints, and then Parrot Answers, which relate to these variable blueprints. So let's create an actual Parrot file. And here we go. So this is for example 1. So just to finish that bit off actually. So those Parrot files then get related to your actual files, and this would be your actual project files, whatever your project you're working on, and those would be in your VS Code. So in this case, it's these files here. So let's so basically we've got this example 1, and we're going to go and find our example 1, our actual example 1 file. We'll open it and save it. Let's make another one, example 2, and we'll open and select this example 2 file. So now here's our Parrot files. If we open up one of those, we see that the template that we just created has been put in there, and the variable blueprint marker has been changed to this little button. And this is where you click and add in your answer, and it's giving you the question that you set, an example that you set for yourself as well. So example component 1 is the name of this one, and that fills that there. And in this one, it's example component 2. So now, when you want to export those files, let's just put these side by side. You basically select all, export, and there it is, example component 1 and example component 2. So now what happens when you want to add in that new section? Let's go back to our template, and we want to add in a new section beneath the script opening tag. We'll say this is a new bit, and it's a comment. This is a new bit. Save. You can see both these files now have, this is a new bit. They've gone orange because they've changed. But then when we export, this is a new bit has been exported to both those files. But sure, you're probably thinking, yeah, but what happens when you start coding? So let's say we start coding, we go, let's add a cue card in here, and let's put a div in, and let's say hello world, and let's do the same over here. We've got a cue card, and let's just put a p tag in there, and we'll say hello Parrot. So what happens now? Can you still use the Parrot Coder? Well, yes, actually. So here, let's just save those. So here, when you want to re-import into your Parrot files, let's just quickly look at our presentation. So as I said earlier, the Parrot Coder is not a replacement for your code editor. So what happens is you do your code editing the way you always do it in your code editor, and then when you're ready to import them back in, so you make your changes here, and then you import your code changes into your Parrot Coder, and then your Parrot Coder will re-export those back to your entire code base. So in this case, we've got some differences that don't apply to both these files, and some that do. So you can see that the cue card bit is the same. So let's just start by adding that in. So we say, okay, go back to our view template, and we want a cue card just underneath there. card opening. Save. And then we want to add the card closing in. Save. And now you see that that's been added automatically to both our view files. And then what we want to do is add in these sections, and you see they're different. So what you can do here is you copy the bit that's unique. You go to the actual Parrot file that's representative of that, and then you add in a unique section. Say hello bit. Save. And for this one, it was a p tag. Hello bit. Save. And now you see they've both gone green because they've actually matched up correctly. So then if you want to then add in a new button or something, you might just go into your, if it's actually going to go across all these files, you might actually go into your section and say, okay, let me add a button in there. So it's going to be Q button. And it's added this button in the cue card. So when we go into our section, we see that it's added the button in there and the button in there, and it knows to put it below that. If you wanted that to be above, then you would take this unique section and you would delete it out, and you would add it here instead. And then you can look at the code, and it will give you the code. And then when you're ready to export, you hit export, and your new code is now exported. So in this case, you've got your hello world text there, and then you've got your Q button text, and here you've got your Q button text and your hello world below it. So that's just a brief introduction of the Parrot Coder and how it works. In the next episode, I'll be taking you through more in-depth examples and show you some more of the tricks that you can do with the Parrot Coder. So it's basically going to be an easy way for you to turn code into schemas and apply it across your entire code base. When I explained that to a friend of mine, his response was, oh, so it's like a code generator, and then said cool. So thanks very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.